welcome to Edukemy. Myself Karuna Mishra, and I will be continuing the previous year question series which has been started for multiple subjects. My area of expertise shall be science and technology. We have already covered in 3 videos different questions from different areas, trying to understand the rationale, how the questions are being asked, and also learning is involved regarding those topics. So today I'll be taking satellites. The area of my concentration will be satellite, especially from the governance point of view. I'll be taking a question from the navigation satellite, and I'll be taking a question from remote sensing, and we will also understand the IRNSS, what are its features, and also the applications of remote sensing. A question on maze also has been asked on the remote sensing satellites in very recent years. So let us take our first question. The first question is that with reference to Indian Regional Navigation Satellite, which is the IRNSS system, which of the following statements is correct? The question is from the year 2018, and it says that IRNSS has 3 satellites in the geostationary and 4 satellites in the geosynchronous orbit. Now you can understand how much depth they are expecting from something like this. This was a big achievement. Navik, if you remember, Navik was believed to be India's answer to the GPS system. It is India's positioning system, navigation satellite constellation which India has sent in the space, and they have clearly asked you how many are in the geostationary orbit and how many are in the geosynchronous orbit. The second statement says that IRNSS covers entire India and about 5,500 square kilometer beyond its border. Now, telling you the reason why so much specific option is given or a statement is given is because India had said that we shall be using NAVIC or IRNSS for not just providing information and assistance to India, but also the neighboring, the South Asian region also. But the question is, how much when we talk about 5,500 square kilometer? Now, if you have an observation, UPSC somehow just loves this figure of 5,500 square kilometer, whether if they are asking a question on missile, and now on the navigation also. There has been a question on Agni also where this figure was asked. Now coming to the third statement, India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage by the middle of 2019. Again, very specific. So without going into the options, let us first understand IRNSS and let us see if with that understanding we can solve this question or not. So first of all, India as well as the region extending up to how much? 1,500 kilometers from its boundaries shall be covered under IRNSS. So the second statement here goes wrong, which said that up to 5,500 square kilometer will be covered. Again, it is not just kilometer, square kilometer. All right. Now, IRNSS shall provide 2 types of services. What are the 2 types? The first is the standard positioning services, that is the general positioning services which you get from your GPS also, from your Galileo, which is from the European Union. We'll see that also. This service shall be provided to all the users. The second kind of service shall be restricted service, and that is encrypted, and this shall only be provided to the authorized users. You have to understand, we build these systems also for the defense and governance purposes, and we cannot keep it open to all subscribers or users. These are the few applications of IRNSS, such as terrestrial, aerial and marine navigation, in disaster management, for vehicle tracking and fleet management. So this is very specific to my defense. Very specific to defense. I'll write it properly, right? So this we have covered this. This is related to the defense and also to some extent traffic management. Apart from that, I will also use it with mobile phones for precise timing of the movement and of different vehicles, also for mapping and for visual and voice navigation for drivers. So if they say in a question that NAVIC is designed to in future support driverless cars, then yes, it has such a utility also. Alright, so coming to the technicality, as we have seen the first statement that they have very specifically asked that how many satellites are in the geostationary, how many are in the geosynchronous. As we can clearly see that out of the 7 satellites, I am having 3 satellites in the geostationary orbit and I am having 4 satellites in the geosynchronous orbit. So yes, the statement first was correct. Statement second, as we have seen, is not correct. And as we can see, the 4 satellites in the geosynchronous shall move in the inclined orbit to assist accurate positioning. So the geosynchronous satellites are meant for accurate positioning, whereas the 3 satellites which are in the geostationary orbit shall be used for fixed positions and shall appear as fixed position in the sky. So all of them are having the utility as we have discussed in the applications part. Apart from that, this is the comparison of NAVIC with the other navigation systems of the world, the most common one being GPS, which is of United States of America, US. It has 31 satellites. It has a global coverage and the precision here is 5 meter, up to 5 meter the precision is. Second is GLONASS, which is by Russia, which has 24 satellites and the precision of 5 meter to 10 meter. The most accurate of them all is Galileo, which is by European Union and has the precision of 1 meter for public and 1 centimeter for the military use. Baidu's is China's GPS or navigation system. It has a separate satellite constellation which is for the army and rest of the utility. It has a total of 35 satellites. The maximum satellites are with Galileo, which is 40. Then I have 35 satellites in Baidu, which is of China, and it has the accuracy of 10 meter for both public and military. Now coming to India's NAVIC or IRNSS, it has a total of 7 satellites only. So you have to see, if you start comparing NAVIC with GPS, the number of satellites and the coverage is very much restricted. It is the radius is not global, right? The rest of the satellites, all the satellites have global coverage, and the precision is 20 meters for civilians and 10 meters for military. So this is basically the comparison of NAVIC with the other positioning systems. We are still catching up and hopefully we'll have a system as efficient as Galileo. So coming to the next question, which talks about remote sensing data. What kind of data I can get from the remote sensing satellites. So it says that for the measurement estimation of which of the following are satellite images or remote sensing data is used. So how I used to remember before exam is, remote sensing satellite is basically the satellite system which is meant for governance related work. Now don't make it a thumb rule, it is only for you to remember. So if I am government, if I have a government, what all data shall I need in order to have good governance? I used to try to find them or fit them in the application of remote sensing. Let us try to do that in this question also. So the first statement says that chlorophyll content in the vegetation on a specific location. So indirectly, can I have an assessment of vegetation? First statement basically means the assessment of vegetation. Second is the greenhouse gas emissions from rice paddies of the specific location. So can I check pollution or have an estimation of pollution or air pollution? The third statement says that land surface temperature of a specific location. So the third application is whether it can have a temperature map, whether it can be used for creation of a temperature or thermal map. Now before going into the options, let us understand the applications of remote sensing satellites. So the satellite remote sensing helps in first defense and intelligence. So in defense, I can do mapping, surveillance and target tracking using remote sensing satellites. When coming to agriculture or natural resources, I can use it in agriculture and forestry for environmental monitoring. So the second statement, which was regarding the rice paddy field, and also the coastal monitoring can be done. Apart from that, in global warming research, I can study sea and ice. For disaster management, I can study earthquakes, floods, natural hazards using remote sensing data. I can use this data for law enforcement, city and urban planning, navigation system, traffic monitoring systems, and for geosciences, I can use it in oceanography, hydrology, and cartography. So I'm using it in engineering and land development also, for wildlife conservation, marine, archaeology also. So since I'm having all these applications, yes, of course, I can use it for making thermal or heat maps too, because then only I can use it for understanding the disaster and also for understanding global warming and to check the usage or over exploitation of the natural resources also. So coming back to this question, I will mark the answer as D, as all the three things can be done, or all the three areas shall use remote sensing data and the overall governance can be done. So that was my little trick for you to remember remote sensing, satellites and their utilities. Stay tuned, we'll be giving you previous year question of the other subjects as well. Till then, study hard, all the best for your prelims. Thank you so much.